Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm so excited to have a special guest tonight. If you guys have not met him yet, Ryan Anderson is our Senior Vice President of Sales. He's with Monat. And he's been with us. He'll share his story a little bit, but he's been with us, I think, five or 6 months. Is that right, Ryan?
I started November 3rd.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're just
yeah,
a brand new baby.
yeah. I know that being around me that long feels like it's been years, but yes, only November 3rd.
Yes, well, welcome. We are so glad that you joined us, and we're so glad that you hopped on this call tonight. Thank you so much. I had the opportunity to be on a call last week where Ryan was on, and he was talking about the success cycle and talked about a lot of amazing things. And I was like, it would be amazing to be able to break this down into bite-sized pieces so that we can really dive into it. And then also towards the end, we're going to kind of give you a little action step to kind of tie it all together so that we're not just talking at you, like you are taking action and you are deep diving into what Ryan is going to talk about. So without further ado, Ryan, take it away.
Thank you so much. I just want to say, first of all, it's both a pleasure and a humbling experience to be here with all of you guys. So thank you so much for taking time out of your evening, whether you're in Canada or Utah or New Orleans. I saw Vegas. So no matter where you're at, I know time is valuable. And I just want to say thank you so much for taking it out and spending it here with us. And then I also want to say thank you so much to Stephanie. I have got to know her a little bit over the last little while and had followed the leaders of Monat for many years. And I will tell you, there's not a higher class of leaders than Stephanie or leaders at Monat in our industry. So how have you, just for my sake, for a show of hands, how many of you guys have been involved in a direct sales or network marketing company before? Anybody? Tonight's totally interactive. Okay, so wow, a lot of hands. That's good. So now you guys know, you guys have something to compare it to, right? So I am 102 years old. I've been in this industry now ever since I was 8 years old. My mom started building a direct sales business when I was 8 years old. We were one of those traditional American families that always had a little bit more month than paycheck. And I'm the youngest of four. And my sister that was just older than me had Down syndrome. And they didn't really have a lot back then, 100 years ago. They didn't really understand what caused it. So my mom got really big into nutrition. And when I was born, I weighed 10 pounds, 10 ounces. Can you tell? All head still. One of these days, my mom says I'm going to grow into this head. And I have just absolutely loved this industry. I'll be forever grateful, and I won't spend a lot of time talking about my story because it's all about you guys tonight. But I'll be forever grateful to two individuals in my life. First of all, I'll be forever grateful to the individual who didn't judge my mom based on our circumstances. We didn't have a lot of money. We lived in a small community of 300 people. That's counting a few dogs, cats, and chickens. We didn't count sheep or cows because there was way too many of those. But it was just a really small town. I lived literally 45 minutes from high school, driving distance one way. Now that I'm not going to lie to you and say it was uphill both ways, but it was in the snow continuously. We didn't have a lot. We lived in the middle of nowhere. My mom didn't have any experience in direct sales or network marketing. All she knew is that she fell in love with nutrition and we needed an opportunity. So I'll be forever grateful for that individual that never judged my mom. The second individual that I'll be forever grateful to is my mom. And that's why I get so passionate about helping people is because my mom taught me at an early age that if you're willing to dream big enough, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight, dream big enough and work hard enough, anything is possible. And I believe that with every fiber of my being. And because my mom made a decision a little over 40 years ago, almost 40 years ago, that to do a direct sales business, I've now had the privilege of doing this business in 28 international countries around the world, and I've seen tens of thousands of people lives change because of this industry. And I am here because I truly believe that our industry as a whole has to shift. It has to change. It has to move from what you see out there of other companies, hype, smoke, and mirrors, to being a company of substance and a company with real products that deliver real results that stand alone, even if there wasn't an opportunity attached to them, but a company that wants to do things differently. And I have been a huge fan of Stuart McMullins for years. I've been a student of this industry, and then I've got to know the Urdaneta family ever since they brought Monat to the marketplace. And I've just fallen in love with their culture, with their vision, with their passion. And I truly believe, and I'm not just saying this because I'm standing in front of you tonight, I truly believe that Monat is the best opportunity out there to help people like my mom and millions of others of people who need hope and an opportunity. And I truly believe that every person was born with the seeds of greatness. They just need a place to be able to plant those seeds of greatness to be able to grow into. And I believe that that is here at Monat. So enough about me. Let's talk about me. I'm kidding. But let's go into, if we could, let's jump into and talk a little bit about the success cycle. And we're going to break this into a couple different segments. And tonight, and I'll explain what the success cycle is so that you guys can kind of have an understanding of it as we dive into it. So the success cycle, and I've done a ton of research. I've seen this in application a million different times. There's books written about different variations of it, but I've just kind of taken it over the years and I've simplified it into the success cycle. By a show of hands, how many of you want success? Anybody here want success? Okay, awesome. Now, you're raising your hand, right? But do you, like, all of your success is different than my success, right? So success varies depending on who you are, your circumstances, what stage of life you're in. There's a lot of different things, right? So the success cycle starts with a dream, okay? And that's where we're going to spend a lot of time tonight, is focusing on dreams. And I'm going to pull some slides up here. So tonight is totally interactive, but dreams lead to goals, okay? There's a difference, and we'll explain next week when we talk about goals. Goals is different than a dream, right? Dreams are goals or dreams with work boots on it, as Dave Ramsey likes to say. So dreams lead to goals, goals lead to action, action leads to results, results leads to success, okay? And we're going to spend time talking about the different steps on that and doing a deeper dive into it. But what I will tell you is, and I want you to think about this tonight, is that so often, and I find this so often throughout my career and in my own personal life, people will have a dream and they're super excited about it. They're passionate about it. They're willing to do anything to make it happen. They set big goals and little goals, which we'll get into next week. But then they go and they put it into action, and they don't start getting the results that they want. Does this sound familiar to anybody, right? You got a dream, you got goals, you go to action, and then you don't get the results that you want. So what happens? 9 out of 10 times, people actually go back and change the dream or the goal. And so the reason why we're going to spend so much time tonight talking about the dream is because that is the fuel. That is the foundation of your success, okay? We're going to do a deep dive into your dreams tonight. And the homework assignment with that is going to have you really digging into that over the next week. So dreams lead to goals, goals lead to action, action leads to results. When we don't get the results we want, we don't go back and change the dream. We don't go back and change the goals. We change the action or activities until we get the results that we want, thus leading us to success. And when we do this correctly, okay? When we do this correctly, I believe that the only challenge that you're going to have is replacing your goals and your dreams with bigger goals or dreams, okay? And you're right, Stephanie, right? Or people quit, right? And we'll share some statistics on that tonight. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to jump into and share a PowerPoint really quickly. And if that's okay. We doing okay so far? Everyone okay? Okay. Okay, now I'm going to bring the chat window over here so that you guys can answer questions. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so your dreams. Okay, I want you to think about your dreams. Go back, you're all in your 20s, so go back 10 years or 5 years into your teenage years. What did you want to be when you grew up? What was it that you wanted to be? What was it you wanted to do? Was it an astronaut? Was it a teacher? Was it a dancer? Was it a CEO? Was it, what was it that you wanted to be? And I want you to kind of go back to that stage in time, right? Like in some of you, if we sat here and said a lawyer, there we go, a lawyer, a nurse, a brain surgeon, a veterinarian, that was mine, travel, truck driver, dancer and cats, journalist, attorney. I love this. Dancer, wanted to be my own business. You achieved it here at Monat. Congratulations. Famous ventriloquist. Nice. Songwriter, singer to travel, Broadway performer, right? Like there's all of these, right? There's just all of these, lab technician. There's just all of these things that you have. And when you're a kid, you haven't had disappointment. John Maxwell in his book, Putting Your Dreams to the Test, he says, disappointment is the gap between one's dreams and one's reality. Okay. So you have a dream and then all of a sudden reality happens. And then there's a gap that disappointment happens. And what we're going to do in over the next little while is we're going to help bridge that gap between your dreams and your reality so that you don't have disappointment. Animator, love that. So we're going to jump into this tonight. We're going to do a really deep dive, and I really want you to internalize this, okay? Because tonight is all about you. And yes, we all represent the company Monat. I always say that we're not a part of Monat. We are Monat. This is a lifestyle. This is who we are. And so, yes, we all are representing this amazing lifestyle we love to call Monat. But tonight is you. This is you. This is the foundation, is you. This is the most important part. Like this is absolutely the most important part. So let's jump into this. So, okay. So quote, follow your passion, be prepared to work hard and sacrifice. And above all else, don't let anyone limit your dreams. There's a quote that I live my life by that says that you will never rise above the expectations that you set for yourself. And when you go back to that being a child, right? When you go back to wanting to be an animator, a lab technician, or an astronaut, or writer, right? Like all of those different things, dancer, all of the things that you wanted to do, there was nobody in this world that could tell you that you couldn't do it, right? Like it was there, you held it, it was yours. And then as you start to grow through life, people start to set expectations for you, or people start to put doubts in your head, or even worse, you start to let doubts creep into your head, right? And pretty soon you're like, oh, that would be wonderful, that'd be great. I just don't have the time, that's not in the cards, or I wasn't blessed with the talent, or there's a million things, right, that we can let creep into our head. But it's so important that we have that ability to focus on us and understand that the dreams are so important. And I want you, each and every one of you tonight, when you walk away from this, that that we're going to define your dreams. Okay. Tonight, the goal is that you help you define your dreams. But then at the end of that, there's two parts of that. And the two parts to that is, I really, truly want you to believe with every fiber of your being that you're worth achieving your goals and dreams. There was a study that was released recently that said women the age of 18 or older, 80% of them don't like what they see in the mirror, like from all aspects, not just physical appearances, but all aspects. And that is a horrible statistic. That is horrible. And so I think it's so important for me that each and every one of you understands that you are worth living and chasing your dreams. Okay. So they did a survey, and what they found is that 50% of the people that was surveyed had given up on their dream. Okay. 50% of them had given up on their dream. And that's like people that had a dream, right? Some people that the world and society that we live in with the mediocrity and different things, a lot of people don't even have a dream, right? But those surveyed, 50% of them said they had given up on their dream. Okay. So 75% of the 50% have not accomplished their dream. So they're still working towards it. They hadn't given up. Okay. They're still working towards it, but they hadn't accomplished it. And then how many of you guys fall in this bucket, right? 95% said they get frustrated chasing their dream. Okay. So 50%, half give up. And then of that 50% that was still going forward, 75% said they hadn't accomplished their dream. And then 95% of them, they say they get frustrated for chasing their dream. Okay, they're frustrated chasing their dream. So there's just those buckets. So the reason why I wanted to share these statistics are like, man, Frank, Stephanie, this guy's like doom and gloom. We're supposed to be talking about dreams, and he's talking about all these people that have given up and failed or get frustrated, right? And that's the reality is, again, disappointment is the gap between one's dreams and one's reality. So it's important to understand that life happens, and we have the ability to overcome that. We'll talk about that tonight as well. So what is a dream? Okay, throw in the comments, what's a dream? What like in your mind, in your opinion, what is a dream? So what do you think it is? Like if you was to define a dream, how would you define it? Is it something that happens at night and you hope you can remember it in the morning? Or is it, so it's your biggest life goal? I love that. Something you know in your soul that you really want to be or have. I love that. Something you want to come to fruition in the future. Great vision of your best life, something long to achieve, life goals, ideal situation, something that makes you happy, fulfilled, life goals, something you aspire to have or be, something you can't stop thinking about daily. I love that one. Love that one, Jennifer. Okay, so one of the best definitions that I've seen of a dream is it's an inspiring picture of the future that energizes you to do everything you can to achieve it. So an inspiring picture of the future, right? And you guys kind of talked about that energizes you to do everything in your every fiber of your being to allow you to accomplish this, right? Because I deserve it. I need this. I want to do this. Okay. So now that we kind of have an understanding of the framework and kind of the landscape of where we're at and what a dream is, let's talk about like the validity of like the dreams and how we can make them happen. How do you not become the 95%? How do you not become the 75%? How do you not become the 50%? So the first thing is, and this is something that is, and I don't want you tonight, that's a really important for me to say this as well. I don't want you tonight to be worried if you don't, like if you can't pinpoint a dream. Okay, like don't be worried if you can't pinpoint a dream. That is fine. That is totally fine, because you have a clean slate. Maybe you're somebody that has already had a ton of success and accomplished all of your goals and dreams, and you haven't replaced them. And that's fine too, but you have to recognize that. Okay. So I'm a firm believer that life is either a progression or a digression. The reality is that you can't stand still, or life will pass you by. Okay. So I'm going to illustrate a story for you. My grandfather was he was somebody that got drafted into the World War II. He in the same town that I grew up, Emory, just nothing. There wasn't even a body of water. Like, this is southeastern Utah. And he gets drafted one day to go to the Navy. And he was a rancher. He had raised sheep and cows and different things. Didn't have a lot of means. He married, had 2 kids, gets drafted into World War II, into the Navy of all things, goes to San Francisco. They throw him on a boat, send him off to war. my grandpa had this vision of becoming a millionaire. Like he really wanted to become a millionaire. That was like, he just really wanted to do this. And so he didn't know how, but that was his dream. He wanted to become a millionaire. Well, he gets on the ship and the captain comes by one day and has all the men lined up. And he says, "Hey, you guys are all getting pretty shaggy on this ship." He goes, "We need somebody that's a barber." And my grandfather was like, "Hey, I used to shear sheep all the time, so I could be a barber." And he did that. He became a barber on the ship in his off time to make money that he would send home to my grandma to buy cows, because they didn't have their own cows, to start their own ranch, right? That was how he started his ranch. And his goal was, and I'll fast forward many, many, many decades, but his goal was to become a millionaire. And he sold his ranch for $1,001. Okay. And it's a fun story. I'll share it with you guys someday. 6 months later, because he didn't have anything else, like that was the thing that he was working for, right? He'd raised his family, but he was wanting to be a millionaire. 6 months later, he passed away, right? Like this was his goal, to become a millionaire. And then he didn't replace it with something else. Like life is a progression. It's life is a progression. You're either progressing or digressing. You can't stand still or life will pass you by. I'm not saying you're all going to die if you don't have a dream, but get a dream. Okay. So what is the meaning behind your dream? What is the purpose? What is the meaning? What does it actually mean? And so if I said to you, is your goal to become a millionaire, right? Some of you may be, some of you may not. But if your goal is only to be, to have $1 million, and it's only got one purpose, the challenge with that is that that one purpose, when things start to happen and things start to go wrong, it's not going to be enough to keep you in the game. Okay. If you only have one purpose, you have to have more than one reason for your dream. There has to be multiple things that are there. So if it's a millionaire, what does that millionaire mean? Does that mean that I get to retire my husband? Does that mean that I get to travel more? Does that mean that I get to do more charitable contributions? Does that mean that I'm going to have a peace of mind or security or retirement? Or what are all of those pieces that are there? Because if it's just one reason, you won't, it's not going to be enough to hold you there. So I'm going to challenge you with your dreams that you have to have a minimum of 6 to 7 reasons, minimum 6 to 7 reasons minimum, because the more reasons you have for achieving your dream, the higher percentage of achieving your dreams goes up. There's a book called The Happiness Advantage, and I'll reference books. I'm not saying go out and buy them and read them, but I'll just share like some of the books that have meant things to me. There's a book by Sean Akers. It's called The Happiness Advantage. And in this book, Sean talks about, he's actually a professor from Harvard, where they do all of these studies on happiness. And because Harvard, I guess, was one of the most unhappy schools of all time for a while. But anyway, in the book, they said that most people think that I'll be happy when, like the concept is I'll be happy when I become a millionaire, I'll be happy when I achieve my dreams, I'll be happier. In the book, The Happiness Advantage, they prove that happier people are more successful than unhappy people, because happiness happens before success. And this is the reason why I share that's here when we talk about the validity of your dreams, is it's really important to me that you understand all of the reasons behind that, and those make you happy. Because when you're happy chasing your dreams and you have more reasons, the percentage of achieving your dreams goes up significantly. So that's really important. So I'm just throwing this in here as well. This was a quote that I came across a little while ago. And again, every one of you is on this call who showed up tonight is a leader. So congratulations. You should give yourselves a round of applause. Leaders, people will follow you for one reason, right? They might follow you because they like your online presence, or they'll follow you because you shared something with them and they liked it. But they will stay with you for multiple reasons. Okay, so they might follow you for one reason, but to motivate and get a volunteer army to move, they need multiple reasons. And the reason why I threw this quote in here is because, again, it goes back to that. The more reasons that you can tie to your dreams, the more reasons that you can tie to people that you're trying to help chase their dreams and accomplish their dreams, the more they're going to stick with it and the more they're going to stay with you as well. So tonight we're going to go through 10 questions. Now, some of these questions are hard. Like, they're not easy. Like, some of these questions are hard, and it's a gut check, right? And again, this is personal. It's personal, and there's a part in here where we talk about sharing your dreams with other people, but it's definitely a personal thing. But the more honest you are with yourself, okay, the more honest you are with yourself, the easier it's going to be to identify your dreams, and the easier it's going to be to chase your dreams and accomplish those. Okay. So on this, I want you to write these questions down, and you're going to rate your dreams. Okay. You're going to rate them a 1 to 5. Okay. And as we work through this over time, the goal is that you'll go back to these 10 questions and that you'll get that rating higher. Okay. So 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. Everyone with me so far? We're good. Okay. All right. So question number 1, ownership. Ownership. Is my dream really my dream? Okay. Think about that for just 1 second. Is my dream really my dream? So earlier tonight, I was at my daughter's basketball game. She's 14 years old. She's on the junior high basketball team. She's a shooting guard. I've coached her ever since she was little, and I'm horrible at basketball, but I love sports. Like, I love basketball. I love it. And she has fallen in love with it. And so I'm pushing her, right? Like, I want her to get on the high school team, and then I want her to go to collegiate, and then who knows, right? Maybe the WNBA one day. The sky's the limit. But if that's not, her name's Audrey, if that's not Audrey's dream, but she's doing it for me, it's going to be harder for her to be passionate about it. So the same thing goes here, right? Like, yeah, Suzette, we are absolutely living through our children's dreams. Yes. And Stephanie, I don't know. My daughter would beg to differ when she's out in the snow shooting free throws. She'd beg to differ if I'm an amazing coach or not. But so this is the question number 1. And we start off with this. Is my dream that I've identified, is it really my dream? Now, it can incorporate your family, right? Like, maybe it's a dream home. Maybe it's a dream vacation. Maybe it's not even monetary, right? Like, maybe it's stronger relationships. Maybe it's, I want to influence 500 women on my team to become thousandaires, right? Like, it can have other people in it, but is it truly your dream? Is it truly something that you're passionate about? The ownership of the dream is so important. Like, you've got to make sure that it is your dream, and separate out the ones that maybe aren't, and expectations that maybe other people have of you, right? Okay, everyone got that one? We're good? Okay, question number 2, clarity. Okay, what do we think clarity is? Do I clearly see my dream? Can I clearly see it? And really what this question is talking about is, okay, so my goal is I want to become a millionaire. Okay, I'm just throwing that out because that was an example earlier. What does becoming a millionaire actually mean, right? Is it $1 million in the bank? Is it debt-free? Is it net worth? Is it security? Is it, what does that mean? Is it stature, right? Like, stature amongst friends? Some people might want that, right? Like, what is it? Can you clearly state and identify what your dream is? So if my dream is to become an SED, okay, let's go back to Monat for a second. If my dream is to become an SED, yes, we know what the rank is. Yes, we know what the perks are. Yes, we know what the annual income statements say. We understand, like, all of that, right? But what does that truly mean? Like, what does that mean for you? Like, what is it? Because if you can't clearly identify what that is, you have to see it to believe it, and you have to believe it to achieve it, right? Those are the steps. So that clarity is so important that you have to be able to see it. You have to be able to visualize it, okay? So again, we're rating these 1 to 5, okay? So hopefully you guys are thinking and they get tougher. The questions get tougher. I'm sorry. Question number 3, reality. Okay. Am I depending on factors within my control to achieve my dream? Okay. So here's a perfect example. I love basketball. Okay. Was never really good at it, but I love it. Well, if I'm waiting for the Chicago Bulls to call me one day to come play for them, which I would probably do it for free as long as they didn't make me sit on the bench. But I'm just waiting for them to call me one day. Like, is that like I'm waiting for them to call? Like, when are they going to call? When are they going to call? And they never call, right? Like, is my dream depending on factors that are in my control? Now, getting to that SED, those are all factors that are in my control. I can control that. Stephanie was talking about that she'd set a goal early on in her Monat career that she was never going to miss reunion because that was entirely in her control, right? So question 3, 1 to 5, am I depending on factors within my control? Now, I don't want, like, you can't use an excuse, again, using Monat here, you can't use an excuse that I have the desire, I'm showing up every day, I'm on all the calls, I'm doing all the things that I'm supposed to be doing, and my business isn't growing and I'm not hitting an SED because my team, they just are horrible. Like, they're just horrible, right? You can't blame the team, right? Because those are all factors that are internal. Those are all your factors, right? Because who picked your team? Guess what? You did, right? So those are all your factors. So reality, am I depending on factors within my control to achieve my dream? Okay, there we go. Question number 4, passion. Ooh, who's passionate? Who's passionate? Anybody passionate on here, right? Anyone passionate, right? Does my dream compel me to follow it? Like, is it the thing, Jennifer, is that the thing that's going to get you out of bed in the morning, right? Sylvie, is that the thing that when you hit a barrier, when you hit something that's head on, that reality hits you in the face, right? Is that the thing? Are you going to be able to push through it? Like that's the thing. There's a long story. I won't go into the whole details, but the animated story of the Alamo, right? Those men, out of the 187 men that passed away at the Alamo, there was all of them were volunteers. Every one of them was volunteers, right? They were willing to give their life for freedom's cause. Like, they had a dream. Like, that was their passion. They knew they were going to die. Like, they knew, and they had a way to get out. They had a way to escape. Okay. They knew that reinforcements weren't coming to the Alamo, but every one of those men was willing to lay down their life for freedom's cause because they had a passion and a dream, and that compelled it. And I know, like, we're not going to talk about, hey, you're going to die if you don't live your dreams, right? You're going to die if you don't accomplish this, but you need to be that passionate that every fiber of your being, it compels you to follow it. Okay. Does your passion fuel your dream? Rate it 1 to 5. Okay. Question 5. The questions, are they getting harder? Pathway. Pathway. So do I have a strategy to reach my dream? Okay. And it's okay if you don't tonight. Okay. The goal is to help you in this, right? Stephanie putting this together. And the goal is to help you create a pathway and a strategy for you to reach your dream. Because I promise every one of you on this call, if you're willing to crawl towards your dreams, we're going to crawl with you. If you're going to walk, we're going to walk with you. If you're going to run, we're going to run with you. If you're going to sprint, we're going to sprint with you. If you're going to fly, we're going to fly with you. But if you're going to sit on the park bench and wait for the bus, we're probably going to be in the Lamborghini passing you. Sorry, just saying. No, I'm more of an old classic car guy, so I wouldn't even drive a Lamborghini. So nothing against you all if you're driving a Lamborghini, but that's not my thing. So, okay, question number 6. Okay. Have I included the people I need to realize my dream? Now, this is so important. This is for me, this is where a lot of dreams go to die. And that is, people have a dream and a desire in their heart, but they're unwilling to share and talk with other people about it because of the fear of failure. Have you guys found yourself in that situation before? You don't want to talk about your dreams. You don't want to talk about that because it's vulnerable. 67 GTO, 66 Mustang was my first car. And I just traded a 67 Camaro for a 67 Pontiac Firebird. So don't get me started talking about cars, guys. Gosh, where did I go? But have you included the right people in your dream? 1 to 5. And if it's a 1, great. That's a huge opportunity for you to do. And I just want you to look around tonight at all of the amazing, talented leaders that are on this call. Like, there's so many people that are going to be your biggest cheerleaders and are your biggest cheerleaders to help you do that, right? And if you're scared about opening up about your dream, that's fine. Let's talk through it. Let's figure out a way to get through it, because it's so important for you to be able to have that and put that in place. Because if you don't, it's just, you can't do this by yourself. Like, dreams is not it's not like tennis. It's not an individual sport, right? It's a team sport. Dreams are a team sport. So question number 7, okay, cost. Where does your mind go instantly when I say cost, right? Am I willing to pay the price for my dream? Am I willing to pay the price? Going back to that Alamo, right? Those men were willing to lay down their life for that. If my dream, and again, going back to Monet, but like, we can, we can, Sylvie, insert dream, right? Ryan, insert dream, right? Tammy, insert dream. So we can do all of those different things. But if going back to Monet, if my dream is that I want to build, I want to get to SED, and I set a goal, right? Dreams lead to goals. I set a goal that I'm going to build 1 block per month. I'm going to get 4 VIPs and 1 market partner every month without fail. And I'm going to teach people to do the same, and I'm going to help them set goals and dreams and so on and so forth. But, oh my gosh, I just, every day there's like the cat needs to be a bath, right? I gotta walk the dog, I gotta go get my car looked at. I gotta, like, if every single day, like, some life happens, like, I'm not trying to say that life doesn't happen, but you've got to be willing every single day to work towards your dream. Remember, life is a progression. We're either progressing or digressing. Like, I'm a firm believer that we set goals, and we're going to talk about this next week, but we set goals and then we grow into it. We stretch to hit a goal and then we grow into it. And so, are you willing to pay that price? And so the people want dinner every single night. I know, Tammy, right? Like, seriously, can we just like figure out frozen TV dinners or something? Whatever happened to those? Can't we have a nutritious TV dinner? So question number 8, tenacity. Okay. So tenacity, when we start thinking about that, the tenacity is, now we start talking about moving on closer to our dreams. Now we start talking about moving forward. So am I moving closer to my dream? And this is something that when we go through the success cycle and we get dreams to goals, right? We have to start attaining those goals and putting action. Don't just think it, ink it. You guys have all heard this. And then we get into the action. We need to be able to measure, am I moving closer to my dream or further away from my dream? And do I have that tenacity to, like, hey, you know what? Guess what? There's going to be days that it's 2 steps back, right? And 1 step forward, right? That's there. But the tenacity is that I'm going to consistently show up every single day because I'm worth it. My dream is important enough to show up every single day. So question number 8, am I worth it? Am I moving closer to my dream? Question number 9, fulfillment. So does working towards my dream bring satisfaction? I think a lot of times people talk about, the struggle, right? And it's, it's why we show up at the movies. It's the reason why, we watch sports, right? And root for the underdog. It's, all of the different things. People always talk about, small struggles equal small victories, big struggles equal big victories, right? And we love that. We love like to see the struggle, the story of my mom, like I'm socially awkward because my mom made all of my clothes when I was in elementary school for many years. And she had this weird fascination with corduroy. And so that's what I wore, right? Like we talk about that struggle to the point that my mom was able to bring home my dad from one of those full-time jobs that he had. He was working 2 full-time jobs and nights, weekends, graveyards. Like, and we were able to have a family life where we were able to eat dinner together at nights, and we were able to travel and make memories and experiences, which I'll be forever grateful for, because my sister that was just older than me that had Down syndrome, we lost her like 4 years ago, but I can go back to an entire lifetime of memories and experiences that my parents was able to do because my mom, was working towards a dream. And so when we start talking about the fulfillment, yeah, it's a struggle, but you should enjoy the journey. We should enjoy that path. We should enjoy working towards our dream. Do you have that fulfillment? And again, because if it's miserable and not fun working towards your dream, then we really need to go back and solidify what that dream is, right? We have to do that. Okay, question 10, significance. So does my dream benefit others? So I know this sounds really weird, right? When we start talking about, but it's my dream. And I just spent all this time talking about and really drilling in and on you and focusing on you and your dream. But significance, like my dream, does my dream benefit others? And I haven't had the privilege of meeting every one of you yet, and I will have that opportunity, and I'm so grateful for that. But I can guarantee you, just knowing you and knowing the fact that you're associated with Stephanie and Nonate and in Stuart and Ray and this incredible brand, I would dare say that every one of your dreams will benefit others. I believe it with every fiber of my being. I do believe that your dream will benefit others. So you might rate this one a 5, right? But it's so important that as we're casting this vision for our dreams and for us specifically, that we are looking at the bigger effect of it. How does it affect others and its significance? So those are the 10 questions. They're kind of tough, right? I'm just going to go to this quote, and then I'll take the slides down, and we can have action items and talk here for a second. But dreamer, okay? Never let it be said that to dream is a waste of one's time. For dreams are our realities in waiting. In dreams, we plant the seeds of our future. I love that. I love that. I would rather die knowing that I was chasing my dreams. Man, I talked about death a lot tonight. I'm so sorry. But dreams are, right? Like they're living. I would rather die knowing that I was chasing my dreams every single day than to live not having a dream in my heart that I was working towards. And that is, it's so important. Like we all have the same 24 hours a day. We all have the time on this earth until the time we don't, right? But how you spend that time and what you're working towards, if it's bringing you that enjoyment, if it's bringing you that pleasure, if you're bringing people into your dreams, if you can go through all 10 of those questions and put a number 5, I promise you that the journey to your dream is going to be a fulfilling dream. It's going to be something that is so passionate that it will change you. It will make it so that you have the ability to live a more fulfilled life. And I truly believe, again, going back to that seeds of greatness, I truly believe that every one of you has that seeds of greatness in you. And some of you have reached some of that, but I guarantee you, if you're still here right now, there's still ways to go. You still have greatness within you. You still have that ability to go. And so I just, the challenge that I want to throw out to you guys tonight is, I'd really like for you guys to identify 1 to 3 dreams, okay, that you have, 1 to 3 dreams. And I'd like you to go through and rate those dreams a 1 to 5. And then the challenge part, right, when we go back to the people, is I'd like you to share that dream with at least 2 people in your life. It can be a significant other. Ryan, I saw that on your face when we said the 2 people. I saw that, right? It's scary. It is absolutely scary, but I promise you, the steps to defining your dream are so critical. It's so important for you to do that. And when you have somebody in your life that is focused on helping you do that, and they understand what your dreams and what it is that you're working for, having that support system is there. And if they don't support you, Jim Rohn has a great quote. He says, the best revenge is 3 little words. I'll show you. Okay. And so it's a great opportunity. So Stephanie, I'm gonna, that's the dream piece of this. Do you want to share a little bit more, kind of your thoughts and what you'd like to, for the takeaway? You're on mute, my friend.
You don't want to read my lips? Can y'all read lips? No, I just wanted to say thank you. Like, that was so good. And when I talked to Ryan last week, I just, to give you guys a little bit of transparency, I said, you know, even though I've been doing this, like, it's almost 7 years, but I sometimes struggle with my why. Like, you know, I mean, like, when you first start your business, you have this why. That's what we talk about, right? Like, your why, your why, your why. We talk about it. And then you set these goals, you have these dreams, you set these goals, and kind of like Ryan is going to go through this whole process. Once you achieve those, you have to go back and write new dreams. And I think somewhere along the way, that's kind of a part that I kind of failed to do. And so I think I've really been struggling just in the last couple years with my business as consistently because I don't have those dreams defined. And so going through this rating system really helped me to, like, little dreams that I think I had in the back of my mind. I'm like, okay, well, that's not really my dream. Like, that's my mom's dream, or that's my so-and-so's dream. And so I think this is going to be extremely powerful. And so I want to thank you, Ryan, for sharing that. And just to tag on to what Ryan said, like, yes, identify 1 to 3 dreams and then rate them and then share them with 2 people. I would also challenge you to share them at least with 1 person within Monat. It can be your upline. It doesn't have to be your upline. Maybe it can be an accountability partner, but it's important so that you put it out there. And like Ryan said, these are the people that are actually going to help you achieve those dreams within Monat. And yes, it's scary. Believe me. I put a goal out there to hit MDC by December 31st. And I was scared to even talk about it because I was afraid it wasn't going to happen. And guess what? It did not happen. And that is okay. That is okay. The dream is still there. It's going to happen. It just didn't happen when I wanted it to happen. But I think it's super important that the more that we start writing these down and we start assessing what our actual dreams are, that we are sharing those with the people that are important in our lives, but then also the people within the company, within your team that can help you, and that you can lean on, that can help you reach those goals. And I wanted to say one other thing is that we say this sometimes, and I think it's important to point out, like, for me, and probably for 90% of you on the call, like, the dream was never selling shampoo. The dream was never selling shampoo. Nobody wakes up on a random Tuesday morning and is like, oh my gosh, I want to sell shampoo. Like, that is not the dream, but Monat is the vehicle to help you reach whatever it is that you're dreaming about. So just keep that in mind. And then I don't know, I think sometimes I struggle. And so I was going to ask you, Ryan, is there is there a difference between a dream and a why?
Yeah, definitely. So, the when we do the definitions between goals and dreams, we'll get into that next week. But the why the why is really going into question, I believe it's question number 2 that we went into tonight. Actually, let's see, question, let's see.
It was
sorry.
clarity.
Clarity. Yes. Thank you. I was just trying to find clarity on the question. What, I can't remember. Oh, it's number 2. Question number 2. Yes. So when we start looking at the why is the purpose, the clarity behind it, right? And the dream is the tangible. What is it? And that's really defining that. And so really that the why, a lot of people will talk about, you know, Jim Rohn, the quote, when your why becomes strong enough, the how becomes easy. It's because you have that clarity of what it is that you want to do, and that helps fuel that. So that's how I would define that. Why is the clarity, and the dream is the tangible what, you know. So there's always the you know, who, what, why, where, when, how, right? The dream is the what, and obviously the why is that clarity or the passion behind that, for sure.
No, I love that. Thank you for clarifying. There's a couple questions in here. I don't know if you have, I mean, we're coming up on
I blocked
an hour,
out. I blocked out the entire night. So absolutely. So Angela, I'm going to hit yours really quickly, if that's okay. Recommendations if your dreams aren't in alignment with your family. Okay. So that's always tough, right? Because your family, you know, that's typically we live with them, but they're in our lives, you know. You can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family, right? So the recommendation that I would go back to in that aspect of it is going back to the purpose or the clarity or the why behind your dreams, because you know your alignment in who you are as a person, like never lose sight of who you are, right? Like you're worth that. And so finding the alignment in purpose within your dreams and defining what that really is. And if people don't in your life, whether they're friends, family, crossline team members, you know, coworkers, whatever it is, if they don't want to support that, find people who are. Find people who will support you in that. Because I would say never dampen or hinder your chances at living your most fulfilled life because somebody else has an expectation of you. So does that make sense? Does that answer that question? Like I would, one, clearly define, go through the 10 questions, make sure that this dream is truly in alignment with who you are and what you want to have and become, right? Like it's in line there. But then you can start to say, who are the people that are going to help support me with that? But never live a less fulfilled life because somebody else is stealing those dreams from you. A lot of the content that the book that really changed my life a lot was John Maxwell's book, Putting Your Dreams to the Test. And in there, you know, you probably heard John, and that was another thing that I loved about Monade, and you know, that John's a big part of what Monade is. But he talks about, have you guys ever heard him talk about the monkey study before? Where they have all of these monkeys and they put them in a cage, and yep, they put food at the top of the pole, and every time a monkey goes up to get the food, they spray them with water, and pretty soon no monkeys are climbing up the pole because they know they're going to get sprayed with water. And then they start replacing monkeys in the cage until eventually, and no monkeys were harmed during the study of this, but they started replacing the monkeys in the cage until eventually there was no monkeys that had ever been sprayed with water. But every time somebody was going, a monkey was going up the pole to get the food, when it was introduced to the cage, all of the other monkeys would start going and pulling it off. They didn't even know why they were doing it. They were just doing it. And there are people in our lives that are dream stealers. There are people in our lives that are going to try to pull us back, and they don't even know why. And a lot of times they don't even know that they're doing it. And so really getting in alignment with your dream and knowing how it supports you and what you want to do will really help a lot of times bring other people in alignment. I'll tell you, when my mom started this home-based business, my dad was upset. We didn't have the money, we didn't have the time. He didn't want my mom selling things to our friends and our family and people that she came in contact with, because, you know, he felt embarrassed by it because it, you know, we needed it, right? Like we needed that to be able to do it. But eventually, you know, when she was able to bring him home from one of those full-time jobs, and we were able to start to have a little bit of a different lifestyle, it came around, it came full circle. So don't give up on your dream, and don't limit yourself, is what I would
Can I
say.
just say something real quick about it? Because
Yeah, please.
I think this is what's confusing for my heart.
Yeah.
So I married the love of my life. He's very, very supportive. He was a soldier for 30 years. He's up at 4 a.m, at bed at, midnight. He's worked really, really hard. And yeah, I told him my goal was to earn $1 million. And he's like, why? We don't need $1 million. And I'm like, well, you earned $1 million in your career. It's a symbol for me that I've helped a lot of people. He goes, but we don't need the money. I'm like, that's not the point. And he's, well, what is the point? And it creates a little bit of conflict because, he's worked really hard for, all these years. And I gave up those dreams to raise our children, to support his career. And I'm just getting started. So I don't ever want to retire. I would just want to enjoy what I'm doing. And so we have these conversations, and he's very supportive. I definitely want to say that, but he's tired and I'm like revved up and ready to go. And so it creates a conflict in our timeline. And that's what I'm struggling with,
Yeah. So I would, again, when you go back and you start looking at the 10 questions, the one thing that I would go and the questions, because like when you have that, you can defend your dream, right? Because there's a couple of different things. He's looking at it that, and again, I'm a man, right? And men have egos, right? So there's a quote that says that a man's intelligence is limited by his ego, right? So there's a piece of us that we want to support, right? Like we want to support. So there's a piece of that from his perspective that he's provided for you. He's done that. Like you don't need to go out and do this, right? There's another piece of it that, there's timing, right? You say he's supportive, and I believe that he is supportive, but you have to be able to go back to the dream and be able to define it. Like, what is $1 million, right? Earning $1 million with Monat. One, it's self, like that self, like accomplishment, it's all of that. But how many people's lives will have been influenced and changed by you accomplishing that $1 million? And he'll understand that. He'll understand that because, and thank God, thank you so much for his country, and God bless you and your family for his service. But he'll understand that for having a successful career in the military and doing what he's been able to do, all of the lives that he's influenced along the way in his journey, and he has that self. You want that, like being able to just explain your dream to him will make that, it'll work. I promise you it'll work.
Thank you.
Did you see another question, Stephanie? Does somebody else have a question you want to come off mute and ask? Jasmine, I can see you shaking your head.
Jasmine, you want to unmute? Here, I can unmute you if that's okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I'm shaking my head because a lot of my dreams crisscross a lot. I have multiple dreams at multiple levels, and sometimes it just gets really confusing what I want to do and what I have to do for my family and my time allotment. And I know it's a lot about management and control and really defining things. And I struggle with that. So
yeah, and again, and I know this is an exercise that we're going through tonight, and you guys hopefully go through this over the next week. But this is an exercise that is ongoing. It's continuous, right? Like it's part of that. But again, it goes back to the question of cost, right? Like, are we willing to pay the cost for our dreams? And I'm not saying that you're not. I'm just saying that life is going to happen, and we have to be able to fit life into our dreams, right? Like, because that's who we are, and that's a big part of it. But that cost is that what is it that we're there, and then the people part is going to come into it as well, because when you share your dreams and dreams and why with people in your life, then they can help support that. Someone was talking about, my family wants dinner every night. What's up with that? If they know that, hey, tonight I'm getting on a call because I need to invest in my dreams and figure out my dreams and do that aspect of it, then maybe they can warm up the TV dinners that night. Maybe they can do the different things to be able to support that. And so those would be the two things the questions that I think, Jasmine, that I would say for you in that comment is go back and really rate that cost question. And then also the people question and getting people in alignment with your goals and dreams.
Mhm. Thank you.
No, thank you. Somebody had asked if I share the dream quote again. So the dream definition. And so the dream definition is, it's an inspiring picture. And I'll get these slides. I'll share these slides with Stephanie and she can get them out to you. But a dream is an inspiring picture of the future that energizes you to do everything you can to achieve it. Everything you can do to achieve it.
Okay, awesome. Ryan, thank you so much. I know everybody got a ton of value, as did I. I have tons of notes. And so I can't wait for you guys to start working on your dreams and just start writing it, because I think it's going to be super powerful. So Ryan, if you have any closing words.
I just, again, we started here and I just want to end here. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. I'm so grateful for you guys for showing up and taking the steps to live your goals and dreams. And Stephanie, I'm a huge fan and cannot wait to see where it goes with this. But thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Okay, so I will post a recording. For those of you that aren't in my team page, I will share the recording. And we will see you guys next Monday to talk about goals. So good night, everybody. Have a good evening. Thanks again, Ryan.
Thanks, everyone. God bless.